Hi guys, today I'd like to talk about DigitalOcean and the full nodes of Ethereum. In the previous video I showed you how to interact with Get, and if you will view this you will see that I had their problems synchronizing a full node of Ethereum. And today I decided to deploy this on a virtual private server on DigitalOcean. I took advantage of a current promotion. They give now $100 for 2 months for free to test this out, and I thought that it could be a good opportunity to test this for free, of course, with good intentions. Because there are different options for synchronizing Ethereum nodes, I created 2 accounts. One account I used for synchronizing a full node, and another account I created for testing the 2 different options. There are light option and fast option. So what I did is, on the main account I created one droplet with this configuration. If I would go to create, I'm gonna show you. I selected this 4 GB of RAM, 2 CPUs, 80 GB, and I added to it a volume of 500 GB, because the full node at the current state is something like 400 GB. So it would, for a full node, it should be enough for now. All in all, it costs for 1 month, as you can see, it will cost me $70, which is enough for 1 month to run from this bonus credit. On another account I ran 2 different droplets, and let me explain how I did and what I did. Let's start one. By the way, I started one for light and one for fast. Let's start with the easiest one, with the light version. From the beginning I selected for light, I created both of them at the same time, and I selected this package here for light and for fast, because I was thinking that it should be enough for synchronizing a lighter version of it. And I added to them 250 GB of storage to both of them, so I built them equally. What result I get from this? I will start with the light one, because the light one seems to be the easiest one, and I didn't have to do any changes. At some point, as I remember, at some point of time it stopped because of lack of peers, but I restarted it and everything went well. So as you can see, okay, let me try to open a few command lines. I will show you how I do this. Okay, let me minimize this. These are command lines for the light. As you can see here, you can see that the light droplet is running and the light droplet is running. I started here, and if I would check the size of the database in the light droplet, it is 770 megabytes. This is the actual size of the database in the light mode. So as you can see, it's not enough. It's not. If we would go here to monitor this, we will see that. By the way, I started all this testing almost 12 hours ago, and I was monitoring them. I know I could start a supervisor, but I needed to monitor them because I encountered, you will see for the next two other options, I encountered a lot of problems, and I will show you in a minute, in a while, how I did this. So I was monitoring during all this time, and what I ended up seeing here in the monitor droplet, you can see that when I started it, it consumed a little bit of CPU. This RAM, okay, let's choose not 6 hours ago, sorry, 24 hours, because I started it almost 12 hours ago. So as you can see, when I started it, it consumed a little bit of CPU, not a little bit, but a little bit of time. The CPU, memory, disk, I/O, disk bandwidth, and after this, it's still running. I didn't stop it, but as you can see, it's just consuming some memory because the get program is running, but other than this, it's not consuming any other resources. And I didn't have to do changes to the droplet, meaning that I didn't have to adjust the RAM or the CPU or the storage, nothing like this, not swap. So 2 GB of RAM is enough for the light version. This is the easiest way to synchronize Ethereum node. Now let's move to another option, which is also on the same account. As you can see here, I have light version, which is 2 GB. Now let's check the fast. In the beginning, I created the fast also with one CPU and 2 GB of RAM, but after some time it threw an error saying that it's out of memory, and I decided to do the same like for the full node, to create a new droplet again and put 4 GB of RAM and 2 CPU. What I ended up having is and I will select again 24 hours here. At some point in time, it anyway went out of memory, so 4 GB was not enough anyway. So what I did, you can see here that we have this drop in the CPU, drop in the memory, disk I/O, and disk usage. What I did at this point is I added 80 GB of swap to this droplet, meaning that we would use additionally to this 4 GB of RAM, additionally 80 GB of SSD as a swap. And it of course removed from the main partition the 8 GB, and it grew a little bit more in size. And after this, it went smoothly for, let's say, 10 hours until now, and the database is growing. As far as I know, it should be something like 59 GB, the fast version. So I will update you when let's check the console for this type of, so you can see that it's still running. Okay, so as you can see, this is the fast version. It's running, it's synchronizing, and let's check how much we have. We have up until now 34 GB of Ethereum database in the fast version, and it's still running. As I can see, it's running smoothly, so now I will start a supervisor for this, so I don't have to keep them open all the time, and we'll keep an eye on this. I will update maybe later of how the process went after this. Now let's move to the main account. In the main account, I decided to run a full node to test how this works in the full node. In the full node, I selected also 4 GB of RAM, and I added to it 500 GB of storage. what I ended up having here. The same like in the fast version. Let's refresh and see the network stats here. You will see that we are on the fast version of it. Not on the fast, sorry, on the full node. Okay, 1 moment, my computer is slow. Okay, so we have here Ethereum full node on Ubuntu, 2 GB of CPU and 4 GB of RAM. You can see here a little bit different. The same like for the fast version, I had to add 8 GB of swap. You can see that I did here. But after this, I saw that the database is growing and that 80 GB of storage will not be enough. So I had to move the database to the these 500 GB of storage that I added from the beginning. I had to mount it, move the database to this new partition, and you can see here that this dropped because I removed from the main partition and dropped this hard drive usage. Other than this, the memory is always on 100%, CPU usage is also high, bandwidth is always downloading. This is the first okay, so as you can see, it's still running with some errors, but it's still running. If I would have to check the size of the database, is 45 GB. I expect this to run for a few days to be fully synchronized with the full node, so I am expecting even up to a week. I don't know for sure, but I'm thinking that it will take a lot of time. I will update also on these results here, but yeah, it will take a lot of time to update a full node. So this was basically my experiments. As you can see, if you want to update a full node, you will have to choose at least 4 GB of RAM with 2 CPU, add 8 GB of swap to this, and add at least 500 GB of additional storage, and set up a supervisor so you don't have to always monitor it yourself. It can take up to a week, maybe even more, maybe less, I don't know, we will see. But this is what I achieved until now.